Alright guys, so I'm going to go over your turn pages 1, 2, and 7. So on page 1, all you're doing is you're looking for, you want to take these two vocabulary words and you're going to make a sentence with them. Okay? And you might need to open up a new tab and define what the words are. So the words for the first one are afford. So I'm going to define afford, to have enough money to pay for. Okay? And loan, a thing that is borrowed. Okay? So what I could do as an example is, I could not afford that sweater, so I had to have my mom loan me money. And there you go. You've used afford and you've used loan in a sentence. Okay? You're going to do that for prosper and profit, savings and scarce, and risk and wages. Alright, you guys. Let me know if you have any questions, but that should be it for page 1. Let's do page 2. Page 2, you're going to complete the sequence graphic organizer. So what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to look, okay, you're going to go to McGraw-Hill in your, ClassLink, go to the McGraw-Hill app. You're going to need to look in your reading writing workshop book, and you're going to need to, I'm going to find it, but you guys should have it. As a teacher, I have it different. So you're going to need to reread the story, and you might actually have the book, and that's perfect. You can have that open, okay? But you're going to read the story, A Fresh Idea. You're going to reread it, okay? And in the story, A Fresh Idea, I want you to tell me what the plot is. What happens in the beginning? Okay, who are the characters? Where does it take place? What happens in the beginning, middle, and end? Now, for characters, you don't need to have complete sentences. You can say Molly, Mr. Taylor, and Molly's mom. Right, those are basically the main characters, or characters in this story. All right. Where does it take place? Well, I know from reading the story that it takes place in the present day. Right, that's the time. And then it also takes place in Molly and Mr. Taylor's backyard. That's where most of the story takes place. Okay, I already gave you these first two. I want you to tell me what happens in the beginning. Something happens to move the story forward. Something happens to Molly. She wants to do something. Okay, and then it involves Mr. Taylor. So I want you to tell me what's the problem here. Okay, and it's like Molly, I even give you part of it, wants to, and I want you to know what she wants to do. Molly wants to do this. Okay, well, Molly wants to do blank, but she can't because she doesn't have blank. Okay? And then in the middle, what happens? Molly and Mr. Taylor decide to do blank together. Okay? And then what happens in the end? In the end, both Molly and Mr. Taylor, blah, 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 blah. You're going to fill that out, okay? So that's page 2 of your turn. Let me know if you have any questions, but you're just summarizing the story. And this is a very important part of this week's assignment because this goes with RL 5.1, which is summarizing what you read in a text, okay? You shouldn't give me more than 1 or 2 sentences for beginning, middle, and end. Okay? And then page 7 is another important one, context clues. So you're going to read each passage. You're going to underline the context clues to help you figure out the word's meaning and then write the word's meaning in the line. I'll do the first one with you. But I have a lesson that I talked about for Friday. Okay, so if we haven't gone to Friday yet, and you can wait till Friday to watch this part of the video. Okay? But let's go ahead and do the first example. Number 1 says, Marla and I were hoping you could take us to the mall next weekend. Sorry, Tasha, I'm working at the hospital this weekend and next weekend, she said. Well, then what about Kevin? I persisted, not ready to give up. Maybe he could take us. So the word is persisted. What does persisted mean? Right? She wants to go to the mall on the weekend, but the girl says, no, I can't, I'm working. And then she says, well, what about Kevin? I persisted, not ready to give up. Where in there do you see a clue for persisted? Well, I see, you can pause if you want and take a look. Okay. I see not ready to give up is a clue for persisted. Maybe he could take us, right? It's like if you really want something, your parents say, oh, I don't know. Well, you're going to persist. You're not ready to just give up. If you really, really want something, you're going to keep pushing a little bit. So I think to persist is to not give up easily. Okay? That's all it is. And I would underline not ready to give up. Okay, you don't have to necessarily underline for this, but I do want you to define the words. So I want you to do 2 through 5 since I did number 1 with you. Okay, you can use the same example I did, but then do 2 through 5. All right, and that's it for the your turns for this week. Hopefully you have gotten everything cleared up. If you have any questions, though, feel free to email me or let me know. Thank you. Have a good one.